بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So I want to make this video because some people claim that the Quran has a scientific error or a reality error, which is that the Quran thinks or gives the impression that the sun sets in water, but we know that's wrong. The earth orbits around the sun. So this is what some people claim, and I'm making this video because even though this stuff like this has been answered on the internet, you can find the answer, but most people don't read nowadays, so this is why people still don't know the answer to this question, even though it's available. Like, what people do is they'll YouTube this question looking for an answer rather than actually look for the answer in books, because it's been answered well before YouTube existed. So what I want to do is I'm just basically going to read, basically read through these things, point out things which could be clarified a little bit better, and then have this in some sort of audio form which people can listen to on YouTube. That's basically my intention. So the ayah that they claim is scientifically wrong is this one in 1886, which reads, when he reached the setting of the sun, he found it as if setting in a spring of dark mud, and he found near it a people. Allah said, O Dhul-Qarnayn, either you punish them or else adopt among them a way of goodness. Now, they say here where it says, حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ مَغْرِبَ الشَّمْسِ وَجَدَهَا تَغْرُبُ فِي عَيْنٍ حَمِئَةٍ. He found it, he found it setting in a muddy water, muddy murky water, some translations say. Okay, so they say this is wrong. Do you get me? The sun doesn't set anywhere. It just, the earth spins and it looks like, and the sun goes below the horizon. That's what happens here. But here they're saying, look, the Quran says that Dhul-Qarnayn found it setting in a murky water. Okay, so here there's a website which basically answers the whole thing, but it's just long to read. Okay, so this, it goes through all these different translations about how they've translated the word. The word is wajada. How they've translated found it, he found it, appeared, he found it, perceived it, he saw it, he found it, etc., etc. Okay, then he goes through the dictionary linguistic analysis of the word wajada and the word maghrib. So the word maghrib and the word wajada and taghrub. Okay, wajada, taghrub. Okay, these are the three words he's going to analyze. He goes through maghrib, he goes through this one dictionary. And these are the meanings that this word has: place of sunset, time of sunset. Okay, the word is maghrib, so he's looking at the word maghrib, and that means it could be place of sunset, time of sunset, point of sunset, countries. Do you know what I mean? People call it, Morocco is called maghrib in Arabic. Then he has these dictionaries, which this says here, maghribun, al-maghribun, al-maghribu, sorry, the place of setting sun, west. Okay, another dictionary. Now this dictionary, what it does is it takes the root of the word, which is ra, ba, and then it looks at how many times that root appears in the Quran. So I've opened it up here for you. So here you see Gharaba, sunset. So this root means these things: sunset, the west, to travel westward, to leave home, to become a stranger, strange, obscure words, high sea waves, crow, black men. That's what the root means. Okay, and then of this root, this word occurs 8 different ways in different forms in the Quran, 19 times. Sorry, 8 forms of this word occur 19 times in the Quran. And then it goes through them, and the word we're looking at is here Al-Maghrib. Okay, Al-Maghrib, noun of place or time, which he's already explained before. The west time or the place of sun setting, and here it uses our example that we're looking here, and he's translated here till when he came to the place / time of sunset, he discovered the sun setting into a murky pool. Okay, now this word Maghrib in Arabic grammar, they call this a dharf, which means it's a time or place. Yeah. Now an example of this, which a lot of Muslims understand, is the word masjid, which rhymes like Maghrib. Yeah, masjid, because it's following the same pattern. So when you say masjid, that word can mean a place where people do sajda. That's why we call it a masjid, because it's a place we do sajda. But it can also be done, yeah, it can also be used for the time that you did sajda. Okay, to say like you prayed at 2 o'clock, yeah, that time period when you're praying, yeah, that time is also called Maghrib. Do you know what I mean? This is what they can do in Arabic language. You can take time, yeah, and you can give it like a name, and this is what they do with this kind of word. So Maghrib, yeah, which is the time of sunset or the place of sunset. Okay, that's what it is. So that's what this word Maghrib means. Okay, and I even opened it up. I went to this website, Corpus Quran, and I took the root Gharaba, and then it says the same thing, like how many times it appears in the Quran, etc. Maghrib here says it appears 10 times. When we go down here, here's the 10 times. This is our example here, the setting place, yeah, Maghrib again. And then this is useful if you wanted to say, because particular words in the Quran, you know, the dictionary might give you a vast meaning of words, but then what happens is when you study how many times the word appears in the Quran, how it's used in the Quran, what it does is starts restricting the meaning, and you see, okay, when this word is used in the Quran, it only has this meaning. Do you get me? Like every word is used, it's only used in this meaning or that meaning, even though the dictionary has a wider opening. In the Quran, it's very, so the Quran, to understand the vocabulary of the Quran, you have to study how those same roots are used in the Quran elsewhere. That way you get a better understanding. So that's what like this website is good for. Okay, so he goes through these meanings, which we understand to mean like sunset, the west, yeah, place and time of sunset. Another dictionary, again, sunset, sundown, west. Yeah, they're saying the same thing, more or less, place of time of sunset, west. Okay, Maghrib, Africa, Northwest Africa, which is Morocco. Yeah, again, same, saying all the same thing. So these are all the dictionaries that agree with what time of sunset, place of sunset, time of sunset, place of sunset, all say the same thing. Yeah, so then he moves on to the word wajada, to find. Yeah, so because the Christians, they say that although Qur'an, he travelled, yeah, he got to a point where he'd found a place where the sun was setting. Okay, and our contention is, why are you limiting it to the place? It can also be used as the time. Do you get me? The time the sun was setting. Do you know what I mean? Why are you limited? So they're trying to say, use this word wajada to find, to say that he literally saw the sun sinking inside water. We're saying, no, he didn't. We're saying, wherever he was standing, yeah, it looked like the sun was sinking into the water, but at the same time, we can also understand it as he was travelling and he stopped travelling when he seen the sun, when he saw that the time was sunset. So it's like late afternoon, the sun's setting, so it's getting dark. So he's travelling and he stops until he finds that time. For example, like if you're travelling and you're like, oh, we should stop now, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's getting dark, let's stop. So someone could say that he travelled until he found it getting dark. Do you know what I mean? That's basically what it's going on here. So this guy here goes into this word wajada, and what he's going to show you is that wajada is not limited to just find. Okay, to find out, discover, detect, to find. Yeah, wajada yajidu wujudun, to find, to hit upon, come across something, meet with something, to get, obtain. Yep. Wajada yajidu, to find, perceive, underline perceive there. Yep. And then another dictionary, to find, to perceive, to know by experience. Yeah, he found in the sense of knew by experience, discovered it, he perceived it, he experienced it. Yep, same, discover, found, perceived it, the finding by means of any of the five senses. Who's this? Yeah, Lane's lexicon. Okay. Yeah, mufridat al-Quran, perceiving something using one of the five senses. Yep, so we get the meaning of find, discover, perceive, see, experience. Yeah, finding it by using the five senses. Okay, so you know what I mean. So from that word, we can understand that he didn't literally find a place or find the sun doing this. He could have where from his point of view, it could have appeared to him to look like the sun was going inside the water. As you can see in this picture here, from our point of view, it appears like the sun is sinking into the water. Okay, now that word wajada, as he's explained and demonstrated through the dictionaries, has the scope to mean perceive. Yeah, as you see in the grammarians, they said, the linguists, they described how this word can be used for seeing, finding, perceiving something by using your senses. Okay, so that's that. Okay, here he shows that yeah, he's saying the use of the word wajada shows that it is from the perspective of al-Qur'an, meaning of taghrubu. The word used taghrubu, the setting of the sun is making spring, is stemming from the word gharaba, yeah, meaning to leave, be absent, be hiding. Yep, just by means setting or disappearing, meaning of al-Qur'an, so perceive the sun setting, disappearing. So here he's explaining that this word taghrubu, yeah, because if we go back here, that word taghrubu here, yeah, wajadaha, he perceived, it appeared to him that it, the sun, taghrubu fi aynin. Taghrubu means like to disappear, like he's explaining here. Yeah, to disappear, to be absent, be hidden, depart, be distant. Yeah, he's saying it's important here to know that the word used doesn't mean to enter, dakhala, neither to sink. Yeah. If the Quran wished to say the sun entered the water, it wouldn't have used the ghurubu. Yeah, it wouldn't have used the ghurubu. Yeah, as the ghurubu doesn't mean entering, it would have used dakhala, meaning to enter. Yeah. Yeah, so it would have said. So here it would have said. وجدها تدخل وجدها تدخل في عين حامئة. That's what it would have said, but then that would have meant literally entering something. But here it says it disappeared, meaning what he's trying to say here is from his point of view. Yeah, look at this picture. From his point of view, it appears as if it's disappearing. Yeah, it's hiding. Yeah, that's what it appears, which is exactly what it looks like from his perspective. So this is the correct way to use if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to say that the water actually does enter into, the sun actually does enter into some kind of water, then like he's saying, this other word would have been used, dakhala. So it would have said wajadaha tadkhulu fi aynin hamiyatin, but it doesn't. So there you go. So his contention is, his contention here is that the translation here, which is understood through the Arabic, is that the Zulqarnain, he kept traveling until he found balagha. Balagha is also a word which is used for time. Okay, so he traveled until he found the time of sunset, which is here. This is the zarf, the time or place. He traveled until the time of sunset. Yeah, Maghribi Shams, sunset. The time of sunset had arrived. Wajadaha. It appeared to him, from his perspective, that the sun was hiding, disappearing. Yeah, fi aynin, in the water, in the muddy, murky water. It appeared to him. Okay, so that explains the linguistics of these words and what's going on in these words. Now, the next thing that in this video we find is that this person here, David Woods, what he says is that what Muslims do nowadays is they reinterpret, or they do the miracle of reinterpretation. So, what he would say to what I've said up to now is, oh, you're just reinterpreting. Do you know what I mean? But that's not right, because we have a an Islamic history of classical scholars. As you can see here, he's gone through them. The dates, okay, 9/11 after Hijrah. 9/11 after Hijrah. No. So 9/11 after Hijrah. So this is about 800. Let's just say 850 years. Yeah. 850 years after the Prophet ﷺ passed away. Yeah. This scholar, when he's talking about the ayah, Yeah, he's talking about its setting in a spring is described as seen from the perspective of the eye. So he's talking about, again, perspective of the eye from his viewpoint. Yeah, Ibn Kathir rahimullah, he also said, as for the idea of reaching the place in the sky where the sun set, this is something impossible. Okay, so this scholar is telling us in 744, okay, which is about, say, 650 years after. Yeah, he's saying it's perspective of the sun, and the people who say that it is the actual place of sunset, these are like made up fabrications, etc. Again, we're going earlier than earlier, so let's go right to the bottom. Let's see what's at the bottom. Oh yeah, Ibn Qutaybah, the famous scholar of Arabic language, 276 after Hijrah, so you can say that's about let's just say about 250 years after the Prophet ﷺ passed away. It is permissible for the verse to mean from the perspective of the eye. Yeah, so we're not doing miracle of reinterpretation. Rather, the scholars, our classical scholars, have been explaining it from a language point of view since the early times. Okay, as you can see, these are all, and there's a lot more. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't named all of them. That's just to basically answer if anyone ever says you're just reinterpreting it now. We can back it up with Islamic scholarship, history of Islamic scholars who have all had the same understanding of that verse. Now, then what happens is, this video, he goes on and he presents us with this hadith here. Okay, what I did was I took a screenshot and I made it bigger so we could read it. Okay, and then, you know, as you can see here, he claims it's from where? From Abu Dawood. I think he said Abu Dawood. Yeah, it was narrated by Abu Dhar. Yeah, said. He said, Abu Dhar said, I was riding behind the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam while he was on a donkey and the sun was setting. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do you know where this sun sets? I said, Allah and His Messenger know best. He said, it sets in a spring of warm water. فإنها تغرب في عين حمية. Yeah, that's the ayah. That's the ayah that we're reading. So what that guy on that YouTube video says is, look, you can't reinterpret that verse because we have a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ explaining saying the same thing. So, and this hadith is also what? It's sahih. As you can see here, it's sahih, it says. Okay, now one thing I want to point out to you, let's see this word here, takhrij. Yeah, takhrij. Yeah, and then this word here, if I can make this thicker, can I make this thick? Yes. Isnaduhu da'if. So here it says sahih, authentic. Yeah, here it says weak. Okay, isnaduhu da'if. Isnad means its chain of narrators. So this hadith that he's presented, its chain of narrators are weak. Oh, you got it from Tirmidhi. Okay, it's from Tirmidhi. Okay, this is from Al-Tirmidhi, sorry. Okay, now, so this chain is weak. So this hadith he's presented as weak, and he's misinforming the audience by putting this here sahih. Yeah, it's not a sahih. The Arabic tells us it's weak. Now the isnad is weak. Okay, what does that mean? Now let's study this hadith that he's presented, which is basically his case against our reinterpretation. I'm sorry that this video is long, but I think it has to be quite in depth. Now, okay, so this is the hadith here. Yeah, and the chain of narrators are these people here. Okay, and what someone has done here is actually made it into an image that we can see. Okay, so you can see here Yazid bin Harun, yeah, Sufyan bin Hussein here, yeah, Al-Hakam bin Utayba, Al-Hakam bin Utayba, Ibrahim, Yazid al-Taymi, Abu Dhar, yeah, said, and then this is the same, this is from Abu Dawood, Hadith, whatever, yeah. Like we said, that in that image, it tells us that this isnad is weak, okay. Tells us that this isnad is weak, okay. What does that mean? So this is why, because this Sufyan bin Hussein and Al-Hakam bin Utayba, they narrated, yeah. So we have Ibrahim bin Yazid, okay. He narrated from Abu Dhar this story that about sitting on the camel, yeah, and the Prophet was asking where the sun sets, okay. So that story is narrated from him to him, okay. Now he narrates to these people here, 6 people, and then they go along and they narrate to these other people in blue, yeah. Now here's the thing, we have the hadiths from Abu Sa'id, yeah, Fazl bin Dukain, Khalid bin Abdullah, Misr, Abdul Ghaffar bin Al-Qasim, Abda bin Sulaiman. So we have all these hadiths, and the thing is, interesting thing is, they all narrate the same hadith, okay, but differently, yeah. The bit where it says it sets in a spring of warm water, yeah, that bit, that's not in the hadith, okay. For example, here in Musnad Ahmad, these words are part of a longer narration reported through the same chain of narrators. Abu Dhar narrated, once I was with the Prophet riding a donkey on which there was a saddle or a piece of velvet that was at sunset. He said to me, "Oh Abu Dhar, do you know where this sun sets?" I said, "Allah the Messenger, no." He said, "It sets in the spring of making water, then it goes and prostrates before its Lord, the exalted in might and ever majestic on the throne, and when it is time to go out, Allah allows it to go out and thus raises, but when He wants to make it rise where it set, He locks it up. The sun will then say, 'Oh my Lord, I have belonged to the Allah will say, rise where you have said, that will take place when no disbelieving soul will get any good by believing them." Muslim Ahmad. This narration is quite similar to the narration found in many hadiths in Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, except the words "it sets in a spring of water." Okay, so again, this hadith again has the same narrators, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. Now this hadith that does have it. It sets in a spring of water. So it has these words in it. So this chain has that wording in it here, and it has it here. Yeah. So these two hadiths are from the same chain. Okay. Sahih Bukhari. Yeah, it's the same. Do you know where the sun goes at the time of sunset? I replied, Allah and His Messenger know better. He said it goes, travels till it prostrates itself under the throne, etc., and it carries on. Yeah, but it doesn't mention. Yeah, it doesn't mention these words. It doesn't mention the spring of that bit. It isn't mentioned. Okay, and then what he does, he analyzes all the people. Yeah, and then what you find is. Okay, and what he's pointing out is that because this person and this person, they narrate a hadith which is the same as all of these, except they've added, their hadith has, I'm not going to say they added, but their hadith has these words extra in the hadith, which leads the scholars of hadith to conclude that this vast number of people who have all heard it from this person. Yeah, and these two have also heard it from this person, but these two have extra wording of this. It sets in the spring of murky water. They have that extra, but all these people don't, which leads them to believe that they are correct, and these had some are mistaken or whatever, and it's caused that this chain. So any hadiths that come through this line, it's automatically weakened. Okay, comes through here, they take it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Ibrahim bin Zayd at-Taymi did actually say those words in his hadith, then we would have found all of these people saying the same thing, but we don't, which leads us to believe that there's been some kind of error happened that's taken place here. From transmission from Ibrahim bin Yazid to Al-Hakam bin Utayba, there's been an error, and that error is carried on to the student. Okay, so that's the analysis of the hadith that was brought in the video, which is that he's presented a weak hadith to support his case, yet we have other hadiths in Sahih Bukhari, etc., yeah, about the same situation, things like that, same story, yet it doesn't have this wording in it. Do you know what I mean? So that question was asked, and the Prophet ﷺ answered it, but the Prophet ﷺ didn't add that the sun sets in a spring of water, in a spring of warm murky water. That's something that didn't happen. So inshallah, this has been benefit to you, and now we can understand what it means here when we read hatta idha balagha maghrib ash-shamsi wajadaha taghrubu fi 'aynin hami'atin, etc., etc., which means Zulqarnain kept on traveling and traveling until the time of sunset, came, when, where he was standing, from his point of view, it appeared to him that the sun was disappearing or hiding in the water, in the murky water. So inshallah, it's been beneficial. Till next time.